The Legion of Doom is back, still greedy and still determined to get rid of the Super Friends. They have a nice rotation going, and today it's Gorilla Grodd's turn to come up with a plan.
Luthor speaks the truth. I have conceived a plan that will enable us to rob the Earth of its greatest historical treasures, and at the same time, we'll rid ourselves of any Super Friends that try to stop us. My interspatial time conveyor will give us a doorway into the past.
I want to be very clear about something important. I know absolutely nothing about this character. Until this season's Super Friends, I had never heard of him. From what I read, he got super intelligent because aliens or something, and in the comics at least, he had some telepathic abilities. That part won't be on display today. Instead, he's the Legion's answer to Clyde Crash Cup.
Batman, we're picking up a trouble alert emergency.
Put it on the big screen.
Super Friends, this is the HMS Scottsfield. We're being raided by Black Manta and...
Sorry to interrupt, Super Freaks, but he's right, you know. Giganta and I are raiding the ship.
For most of the episode, the Super Friends are going to make a fundamental mistake starting right now. Aquaman and Apache Chief are heading out to rescue the ship.
Manta, Aquaman and Apache Chief are approaching.
Excellent. Prepare Evasion Plan 6.
They're getting away, Apache Chief. You take the aqua scooter. I'll swim after them and lead them into you.
Yep, all part of that fundamental mistake I mentioned.
Instantly, the Manta ship, Apache Chief, and Aquaman speed through the glowing doorway, traveling back into the past 70 million years.
Great Atlantis. What was that strange field we just passed through?
It must have been some sort of time barrier. Look, a water dinosaur.
And for reasons nobody could possibly explain, it thinks you look like an edible fish. Our villains are actually here to steal something from dinosaurs. I think Manta's helmet may be a bit too tight.
Soon one of the world's richest treasures will be ours.
Grodd is a genius. Who else would have thought to rob the diamond mines of South Africa before they were even discovered?
For most of the 20th century, the steady flow of diamonds out of the mines in South Africa was considered a good thing, and it wasn't until near the end of the century that someone started asking, hold on, who digs them out and what are their lives like? When we found out, the backlash was fairly global. But that hasn't happened yet, and if they take all the diamonds now so there's nothing to mine, I wonder what that does to South Africa's economy, as if they care. Here's a basic rule of superheroing. If the bad guys disappear through something you don't understand, don't follow. Because while you're playing with dinosaurs on the other side of the thing, Giganta and Manta, in a case of Fanta, I can't help myself, return to the present and close the door behind them. These two are stuck 70 million years in the past. But at least they only have to wait another 5 million years for the big comet to hit, and then they can get a break from all the dinosaurs. We'll see the Legion steal King Arthur's treasure and some other priceless historical items, but the one I really don't get is this one.
This bust of George Washington will look great in our stolen art collection, Sinestro.
Allow me to do the carving, Captain Cold.
Holy stone carvers, Batman. They're stealing the head of George Washington.
Green Lantern and I will handle it, Batman.
I want to see the shelf they intend to put that on. He said it'll look great in their collection. Mount Rushmore's in South Dakota. Going by what he said, I figure the shelf where they keep their collection is roughly the size of North Dakota. And we heard them make that same mistake again. It's a simple matter for Green Lantern to put the head back in place, and then they streak off to chase the villains.
As Green Lantern and Samurai follow the two villains into the incredible time door, they are all swept back through the strange warp to the time of King Arthur in Camelot.
Samurai estimates they're somewhere in the 6th century, which means Camelot, even supposing it existed, would not have looked like that. It more likely looked like this. The castle as we know it from the Middle Ages wasn't invented for another 400 years.
We've got to find out what Sinestro and Captain Cold are up to before the energy in my power ring runs out.
I was never much of a DC reader, but I did know that Green Lantern has to recharge his ring now and again, and it looks like he forgot to plug it in last night. We learn that the villains are here to steal King Arthur's treasure. If there really was a King Arthur and he had any treasure for Sinestro and Cold to loot, nobody has any idea what became of it, so maybe they really did make off with it.
Batman, Robin, Grodd the Gorilla and Solomon Grundy are trying to break into the Gotham Treasury. We can't stop them. You've got to help.
We're on our way, Chief.
Same basic mistake. They end up trapped in ancient Rome. Back in Camelot, Sinestro and Captain Cold have finished gathering the treasure and sending it to the 20th century. Once they leave and close the time portal, trapping Samurai and Lantern in the past, the King's soldiers have a different theory about what happened to the loot.
We are stranded in the past.
And soon to be stranded in King Arthur's dungeon for stealing his kingdom's treasure.
But we stole nothing. We were only...
Silence! Take them away!
How about not? Green Lantern, take care of these guys.
There is no point in escaping until we can figure a way to get back to the 20th century.
And that's not going to be easy, now that the 24-hour charge in my power ring has been used up.
Or not. I told you he forgot to plug it in. Batman and Robin aren't faring any better.
Solomon Grundy and Grodd are around here somewhere, Robin. Holy statue nappers, Batman. There they are.
Hurry, Grundy.
Me right behind you, Grodd.
It's the end of the road, you time-traveling crooks.
You're wasting your time, Batman. But you'll have plenty of time to waste in a few moments. Into the time conveyor.
And just to prove that there are some things in human nature that never change...
I think we're in deep trouble, Robin.
More trouble than you can imagine. You're under arrest for stealing the treasures of the Emperor. Take them to the palace.
All those years of education wasted. For over 10 years they told me the Romans spoke Latin. Now I find out they spoke perfect 20th century American English. You can't believe anything anymore.
Batman, what are we gonna do?
It's no use, Robin. Grodd did a masterful job of framing us.
I want to ask both sets of authorities, if they stole that stuff, where is it? Produce it and prove they stole anything. But courts in ancient times didn't work like that.
So, these are the ones who dared to steal my treasures.
No, Caesar, we were only...
Enough! You were only robbing the Emperor of Rome and sealing your fate. Take them to the Colosseum. The lions will enjoy them.
Why does the Emperor sound like a Rocky and Bullwinkle villain? At the Hall of Justice, the remaining Super Friends have been trying to figure out what happened to the rest of the team. A check of all their instruments, plus a quick flight by Superman reveals that they are nowhere within this galaxy. So they can't even figure out what happened, never mind what to do about it.
We'll return to Sutter's Mill before the gold rush and mine out all of the gold.
I find that hard to believe. As most of you know, I've done gold mining. It is work. It's slow going and strenuous beyond belief. Forgive me if I have trouble picturing any of these guys doing actual manual labor like that. Back in the days of Alley-Oop, Aquaman has an idea.
It's a dinosaur.
He'll let us know what it is after he deals with this guy.
Quick, to the aqua scooter.
That was close, Aquaman.
Show of hands, how many of us grew up playing with dinosaurs and learning about them? Good. So we all know that particular one ate plants and had flat teeth suitable for grinding. So where'd it get all those sharp fangs? That's easy. Dentures.
I've tracked it down exactly, Aquaman. This is the precise location of the Hall of Justice, but what good will it do us?
My Justice League mini radio is powered by a tiny nuclear battery, which will last well over 100 million years.
Someone anticipated needing a battery with that kind of longevity because...
Black Manta said we were in 70 million BC. All we have to do is add 1978 years, plus 252 days, and set the mini radio to give off a trouble alert signal at that time.
Of course, Grodd did say it was exactly 70 million years, not one day more or less, right? Well, no, that's a guess, but it's all they have. He buries the device deep enough that it'll still be there after the Hall of Justice is built over it. The biggest problem with this idea is that thing just goes beep, beep, beep. It doesn't actually tell them anything.
Great Scott! It's Aquaman's radio.
But how did it get buried beneath the Hall of Justice?
This crusty rock might give us a clue.
I would think analyzing how long that battery has been running might be even more useful, but his way works.
Carbon-14 dating of the dirt on Aquaman's radio indicates it was buried in the Cretaceous period exactly 70,001,978 years ago.
Superheroes are the only ones who get to use that super-duper carbon-14 dating. The rest of us have to settle for the method that's only accurate to about 5,000 years, only works on organic materials, not dirt, and is about as precise as throwing a dart blindfolded. Us little people always get the short end of the stick. They've figured out that Aquaman and Apache Chief are trapped in the distant past. Good thing Superman knows how to get there.
Increasing his speed to beyond the barrier of light, Superman passes through a warp in time, continuing back into the distant past.
Superman, you found us.
Your little radio trick worked perfectly, Aquaman. Now all we have to do is get back into the future.
No, we didn't steal that from the movie. This came first. Once they're back at the Hall of Justice, he reconfigures the device to detect the others as he passes through time. Soon enough, everybody is back home, and the Super Friends are at full strength again.
Now that we're all back in the present, we'd better find out what the Legion of Doom is up to.
I'll program the Justice League crime computer to calculate the Legion's next plan of attack.
The computer indicates the Legion of Doom's next target will be Sutter's Mill, January 23rd, 1848, the day before gold was discovered.
Of course, he plans on mining the gold before the 49ers.
Now that my power ring is recharged, we can use it to travel back into time and set a trap for those super criminals.
Maybe he should let Superman take care of the travel arrangements since his battery doesn't run down.
We'll take the south fork of the river. Black Manta and I will mine the gold from the northern region, upriver.
I don't know about mining the gold, Grodd, but we'd be glad to send you up the river.
It's the Super Friends.
I'll take care of them.
The super strong gorilla can't break those icicles, but let's let that pass. What's important is the Super Friends are finally starting to correct their mistake.
This will fix you, super fools.
Let's see how fast I am on the draw. Now to quake those villains for shipping back to prison.
Have you figured out what the mistake was yet? They each went after their own traditional villains. The problem with that is the villains know what to expect. At long last, we're mixing it up. Aquaman takes care of a Flash villain. Green Lantern handles Apache Chiefs and Aquaman's foes. Mix it up. Throw stuff at them that they aren't used to, and they're beaten. Even though Grodd's device activates again and they all vanish, their plan is kaput. I may have a small advantage when it comes to thinking about switching villains. Somewhere along my teenage years, I picked up a Justice League comic one day on a whim. The story was about these three demons who got released to create havoc on the earth. They were going to eliminate humans, get rid of the moon, and make everything the way it was back in their day. Initially, they beat the JLA using spells that targeted them by name. When Green Lantern realized that, he used his ring to swap their identities around so the spells didn't work, switching it up, throwing the unexpected at them. It worked then, and once they finally figured it out, it worked this time. Now they just have one more problem to solve. Who's going to draw the short straw and have to go around putting all that stuff back? Strenuous beyond belief. There's a device to detect. Come on, David. Their own traditional villains. Villains? Villains?